Hi there, Sergeant Steve Betteridge, Public Information Officer with Windsor Police Service, and this is another edition of Anytime, Anywhere. A lot of questions out there about cannabis legislation and what's legal, what isn't. We're here to make it simple. When it comes to road safety, impaired driving has always been a crime. Impaired by drug, impaired by alcohol, or impaired by a combination thereof. Today, we're going to hook up with a drug recognition evaluator from Windsor Police Service and show you exactly what tools we have to keep our roads safe anytime, anywhere.
Before I'd be advised, I've located that vehicle.
Today we're going to be stopping a suspected impaired driver, then we're going to conduct a standard field sobriety test, and we're going to be doing a drug evaluation test as well. Okay, anytime, anywhere. Constable Shane Miles, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, appreciate it.
Today, our pleasure. Today we're going to be walking through impaired driving.
So my responsibility here as the drug recognition evaluator and standardized field sobriety testing coordinator is to ensure that the officers that we currently have and already have in Windsor are prepared and ready to go for October 17th. And we are. As a matter of fact, we've been doing this since 2009. So what I'm going to walk you through here today is what a number of officers are prepared to do effective now. We identify impairment. The purpose of us is not to identify a drug or alcohol, but the fact that people shouldn't be driving when under the influence of an intoxicating substance, which includes drugs and marijuana. Now, I'm going to tell you at this time, I have a suspicion that you've consumed marijuana and that you might be under the influence of marijuana. Okay, so I'm just going to read you a demand.
So tell us exactly what's happened. You've done the vehicle stop. Take us from there.
Okay, so we had some information that a vehicle was being operated in an erratic manner, some swerving. We're going to use that as part of our grounds, and we have a citizen reporting that. So when I approach the vehicle, I'm keeping that in mind. There could be a number of reasons that this is happening. If I'm satisfied this person's impaired, they're getting arrested right away. So, my suspicion that she may be impaired based on all of this evidence brings me to the point where I'm going to have her come out of the car so I can read this demand and make some more observations with her. Because at any point in time, I can discontinue this investigation and let her go on her way. So I'm about to do the first step of the test, which is the horizontal gaze nystagmus test, which is where I'm going to look into their eyes and have them look at a fixed object moving side to side. This is test number 1 for the standardized field sobriety test. Yes.
Let's go through it.
Okay.
And the second test?
As I introduced, is the walk and turn test. So I'm going to have the subject position themselves on a line, which we will have in parking lots or at the side of the roadway, and they're going to walk down this line, turn around and walk back down this line. And I'm going to be looking for several clues. At this point, the test transitions from a physiological response to actual physical coordination test. So we're actually going to take the drivers and divide their attention. We're going to have them thinking, remembering, and acting at the same time. So putting the body and mind together, but making them do multiple tasks like is required during driving. Driving requires a multitude of tasks. So we're going to give them a simple few tasks and see if they can do that all at one time. Thank you, ma'am. Just hang on one second, okay?
So we've had 2 tests now. What's the third test?
The third and simple test that we're going to do is called the one-leg stand. I'm going to have this individual stand on one leg. They're going to balance, count out loud. 2010, back leg straight, please.
1017.
All right, madam. As a result of the physical coordination tests that we've just conducted, along with the information that I received from the person who complained, I'm of the opinion, and I have grounds to believe that your ability to operate a motor vehicle is impaired by a drug. You're under arrest for impaired operation. Turn around, put your hands behind your back. I demand that you submit to an evaluation conducted by an evaluating officer to determine whether or not your ability to operate a motor vehicle. So when they're back in the office and in our cells, we're going to take the standard processes by which we afford them the right to speak to a lawyer, and then they submit to these tests. These tests are required by law, and the consequence for not providing cooperation during these tests is a charge for refusal, which is very important for people to realize that both on the road and in the office, they must submit to these tests. The tests that we conduct are going to be a series of physiological and divided attention tests. So as you saw me having them walk down a line and turn around, we do those 3 tests once again in the office, and then we add 2 additional tests to that, one being a modified Romberg balance test, where they're asked to close their eyes and tilt their head back while estimating the passage of time, and then another one being the traditional finger to nose, which people may be familiar with. But again, dividing a person's attention, they're making them think, judge, and estimate, like we do when we drive. We're also testing some of the physiological responses that we know are predictable with certain drugs, certain categories of drugs in particular. So we know cannabis will do certain things to the body, so we use blood pressure, we use pulse rates. We also look into their eyes, the reaction of their eyes to light, both in near total darkness as well as in regular lighting that we see. We take a look at their skin. We know that the methods of ingestion of drugs vary. The impairment happens in the mind, not the body. And by the time it shows itself in the body, it's already too far. These are the tools we use. It's my opinion that your ability to operate a motor vehicle was impaired by the prior consumption of drug. And therefore, I'm going to make a demand that you provide urine.
Special thanks to our St. Clair College volunteer students. Shout out to Constable Shane Miles with all his absolutely fantastic and educational information for us today. Anytime, anywhere, don't drive impaired, don't drive high.